Grade 11, these are the answers for your biology revision sheet for the fourth quarter. So the first question, what unique property of cardiac muscle fibers helps both ventricles contract together? When one is stimulated, they all contract. The cardiac muscle fibers are connected in a certain way that when one muscle fiber is stimulated, they all contract together. Number 2. What part of the circulatory system keeps oxygen-poor blood from mixing with oxygen-rich blood? Of course, we have two types of blood vessels. The arteries that are carrying oxygen-rich blood and the veins that are carrying oxygen-poor blood. The presence of blood vessels prevents the mixing of these two types of blood. Which parts of the circulatory system deliver oxygen-rich blood to the rest of the body? The parts of the circulatory system, we said that the left ventricle and the aorta are the pump that pumps the blood that is rich in oxygen that just came back from the lungs, purified, and the carbon dioxide was taken away and replaced by oxygen. They get to the left atrium, and then from the left atrium to the left ventricle, and then the left ventricle contracts and pushes all the oxygen-rich blood into the aorta. In which direction would oxygen-rich blood flow in this diagram? So in this diagram, if you look, you are going to see the heart on the right, to the heart on the right side, on the left side, and from the heart on the right side. So in which direction, which oxygen-rich blood flow? The oxygen-rich blood is going to flow where? From the heart to the other side. So it's going to flow, the oxygen-rich blood. It always flows from the heart, okay? So it is going to flow from the heart, it is going to go to the rest of the body, and then it's going to return to the heart as oxygen-poor blood. So from A to C. The primary function of the red blood cells is to transport oxygen and carbon dioxide. The red blood cells have an important protein which is called hemoglobin that literally sticks to oxygen. It attracts oxygen and it sticks to it. Number 6, materials can diffuse into and out of the blood in the capillaries because the capillary walls are very thin. The capillaries are the point at which the exchange occurs. So the blood, the arteries, they carry oxygenated blood, the veins, they carry deoxygenated blood, and the capillaries, they connect all of this at the level of the cells. And we say that the capillaries are one cell thick because they are very, very thin. Number 7, blood that is transported in a pulmonary vein. All of the arteries contain oxygenated blood and all of the veins contain deoxygenated blood, except the pulmonary vein is the vein coming from the lungs, and it is full of oxygenated blood. So why do we call it a vein although it is carrying oxygenated blood? Because it's returning to the heart. Whatever returns the blood to the heart, we call it a vein, and whatever takes the blood away from the heart, we call it an artery. Number 8, the nervous system regulates breathing by monitoring dissolved gases in the blood. So for example, if you hold your breath for a certain period of time, the receptors in your body are going to detect an increase in the levels of carbon dioxide and a decrease in the level of oxygen, and in this case it is going to push your nervous system to send a message to the respiratory system in order to make you breathe. So how does it regulate breathing? By monitoring the dissolved gases in the blood, the amounts of oxygen and the amounts of carbon dioxide present in your blood. Because the capillary walls are only one cell thick, this is what we just said, C, materials easily diffuse through them. They allow the oxygen to go to the cells, they allow the nutrients to go to the cells, they allow the carbon dioxide to come back from the cells, they allow the waste to come back from the cell because they are very thin. They have very thin walls. Number 10, what happens when a part of the lymphatic system does not function? The lymphatic system is the system that carries all the excess fluids from your body. So if part of the lymphatic system does not function, this part is going to be filling up with fluid. So number 10, A, fluids become trapped in the tissues causing swelling in the area. 11, the lymphatic system empties lymph back into the circulatory system through two veins. So the lymphatic system is going to collect the fluids from wherever they are going to be left, and then it is going to empty the lymph back into the circulatory system to be transported back to the heart. Number 12, when your heart and breathing speed up or slow down, your body is trying to maintain homeostasis. So for example, you're running, you need more oxygen, so in this case your heart rate is going to increase, your breathing rate is going to increase to make sure you're getting enough oxygen and you're burning enough food in order to feed your cells, in order to give you more energy. So in this case, you're maintaining homeostasis. If you're sitting down doing nothing, your breathing rate is going to be relaxed because you don't need that much oxygen to just sit down and do nothing. Number 13, a pulmonary vein differs, The pulmonary vein differs from most veins in that it carries, as we said, all the arteries contain oxygenated blood except the pulmonary artery. All the veins contain deoxygenated or oxygen-poor blood except the pulmonary vein. The pulmonary vein is the vein that carries oxygen-rich blood from the lungs to the heart. Number 14. Which of these structures of the lymphatic system helps to develop lymphocytes? Of course, the lymphocytes are collected in the thymus gland, which is present behind your chest bone, and in this thymus gland they become mature lymphocytes. Number 15. In a healthy person, the systolic pressure is always higher than the diastolic pressure because the systolic pressure measures the blood pressure in the artery after the left ventricle contracts. Okay, so whenever anyone in your family is measuring the blood pressure, you hear two numbers. A big number, which we call the systolic pressure, and a smaller number, which is called the diastolic pressure. The systolic pressure is the pressure felt in the artery when the ventricles contract, and then the diastolic pressure is the pressure felt in the arteries when they relax. What is the function of the white blood cells? Of course, as we said, the white blood cells, they fight pathogens and destroy foreign materials. Number 17, the diastolic pressure occurs when the left ventricle relaxes, as we just said. 18, oxygen diffuses into the blood from the alveoli. The alveoli are the air sacs that are present in your lungs, and in the alveoli the air exchange occurs. The first contraction of the heart takes place in the atria. In the atria there is a point that is called the sinoatrial node that produces an electrical impulse that produces the contractions of the heart. Blood pressure is a measurement of a force against the walls of the artery. So these are the answers for the first 20 questions. I'm going to solve the rest of the questions for you in the next video.